Today we are going to discuss about a data structure, namely disjoint sets. We shall see what are disjoint sets, which are the operations on this data structure, and an example application. And also we shall see how we can represent disjoint sets using self-referential data structures. So the topic for today is disjoint sets. We can start with an example collection of disjoint sets. If you see these sets S1, S2, S3 and S4, you can easily verify that they are pairwise disjoint. If you take the intersection of any two, then you will get empty as the intersection. And the union of these disjoint set is just a collection of disjoint sets. So when we say disjoint sets, we mean a collection of finitely many disjoint sets. Now, before we shall see how we can represent disjoint sets, let us look at an example application for disjoint sets. Now you see this graph with 10 vertices. You can see that the graph is containing 4 disconnected components. This is a component, this is another component, this is the third one and the last one. The vertices in a connected component can be represented as a set. For example, here you can represent this connected component as a set ABCD, meaning each vertex in that set is in the connected component. And given that it is clear that no vertex can be present in 2 sets or 2 connected components. If you have a connection like this, then these two will become a single component. So you cannot have 2 vertices from 2 components on the same set. So they are disjoint. So this is an application where disjoint sets can represent the connected components of a graph. There are so many applications for graphs in computer science, and connected components also play an important role in various domains of applications. So we can use disjoint sets data structure to represent connected components of a graph. In this example, the sets representing the connected components are S1 with ABCD, S2 with EFG, S3 with HI and S4 with the singleton element J. Now let us see some operations on this data structure, disjoint sets. We can try to understand the operations with this example graph and the corresponding set disjoint sets representation of connected components. The first operation is make set. It takes an argument x, which is an element, and creates a new set with x as the only element in it. So make set x returns a new set with only x as its element. Another operation is union xy, which takes 2 elements x and y and it joins or takes the union of the sets containing x and y. For example, if you pass f and I as elements to the union operation, then it takes S2 and S3 and performs the union between them. So the result will be the union of these two sets. So that's the union. And not that in union you are taking any two elements, even if you give E and H, you will get the same result. It doesn't matter which element you give. It just combines the sets containing the given element. So the elements are not so relevant here. Any of these three elements and any one of these two elements will give the same result. Next operation is find set x. Given an element x, it returns a pointer to the set containing x. For example, if you call find set with argument c, it will return the set S1 which is containing c in it. So these are three operations. Now finding disjoint sets representing connected components. Here I am just copying this algorithm from the textbook. We can see what it is doing, and the aim of this algorithm is to get a disjoint sets representation of a given graph. And in this, G dot V represents the vertex set. In this case 10 vertices are there, and G dot E represents the edge set. There are 7 edges. And what is this algorithm doing? It says for each vertex in the vertex set, make set V. So it creates 10 sets with one elements each. Each vertex is becoming a connected component. Later we have to add combine vertices in each component. Okay. So to start with, what it is doing, it creates singleton set for each vertex. And after that, for each edge in the edge set, for example, if you take BD as the edge, what is it doing? It checks whether the set containing U and V, in this case B and D, are different or not. In this case they are different, B and D are not the same. So it needs to perform the union. So what will it do? It just combines these two into a single set. Then it takes the next edge, maybe EG, it looks at E and G, it finds that E and G are in different component now. Because there is an edge, you just combine them to a single set. Now suppose you take A and C, you can see that A and C are now in different set, so you are joining them. Then look at maybe HI. If you look at HI, they are now in different components, and because there is an edge, you just want to combine them. Next, suppose you are looking at the edge AB. Now if you look at AB, A is here and B is here, so you will combine these two sets. Not that it is correct, because ABCD is in the same component. Now EF, if you look at E and F, there is E and F, so you will combine these three into a single set. So no other change. And the last edge is BC. You can see that if you take BC, already B and C are in the same component, so nothing to be done. Now you have processed every edge and you ended up in the disjoint sets representation of the given graph, where ABCD is one component, EFG is another component, HI is the third component, and J is the last component. So this is an algorithm which makes disjoint sets representation of a given graph. The complexity of this is in the order of the number of states. and here is this one is in the order of the number of edges. So it is linear in the size of the graph. Now we can see how can you represent disjoint sets using linked list representation. Here's an example. If you look at the set FGD, you can have a linked list like this. There is a header. From the header, the head is pointing to the first node in the list and the tail is pointing to the last node. It's a linear linked list. It doesn't matter in what order you collect because it is a set. And note that from every node there is a pointer pointing to the header node. Given this, the complexity of make set is order of 1 because you need only finitely many operations. You make this header node and a node and then make these links. That's it. 4 or 5 steps in the algorithm. So order of 1. And the complexity of find set X is 1 because if you are given G, a single operation will tell you in which set you are in. Now suppose you are given with the two disjoint sets S1 and S2 and you want to take their union. Maybe if you look at an edge like DC, you have to find the union of these two sets. So what you can do is, if you say union GE, G is in one set and E is in the other set, so you will combine them. So what you did is, you retain this part and then the next is next of D is set as C and you go like that. And every time when you make this link, the header node here was pointing to this, but that you have to change it to the new header, which is the first header node. So the complexity will be in the order of the number of elements in the second set. So in the first set you don't have to do anything. Second set you inspect each element and make the pointer, the parent pointing to the new header, and also you have to make this pointing to the next node as C. So these are the different operations, and with this we are finishing this lecture. So today we have seen disjoint sets data structure. An application is representing disconnected components in a graph. We have seen different operations, that is the make set, union and find set operations, and we also have seen how the disjoint sets can be represented using our linked list representation, and we also have looked at the complexity of each operation in the selected representation. Thank you.